Last time I said I would try and go for the world record Vorkath speedrun, which at the time I thought was 43 seconds. It turns out the real time is actually 32 seconds, which complicates things. In the normal max range setup, the fastest time recorded was 43 seconds. This means I will have to find a new way to beat that time. To start, I'll have to use the Zaryte Crossbow to guarantee a max hit of 110 at the beginning of each attempt, and then if my hits are good enough to switch to Darox for the final hit, which will save a few seconds. Although this method works in theory, in practice it's much more difficult. Luckily for me, this is the best time to attempt this, as at the time of this recording, Vorkath bones are the highest value they've ever been, at over 26k each. So even if I don't manage to complete the speed run, at least it wasn't all for nothing. Look at the state of this inventory. That's 1.7 mil in 10 minutes. In order to have even the slightest chance of speedrun success, my RNG will have to be perfect. That means my ruby bolts will have to proc at least 3 times in the first phase of Vorkath. The chances of hitting the ruby bolts 3 times in a row is 6%. So hitting that 3 times in a row is very unlikely. However, I have done it before, and that was without the help of the Kandarin Hard Diary, which on completion raises the chance of a ruby bolt spec to 6.6%. Although this is only a slight increase, it's still worth doing to maximise my chances. One of the tasks to complete the Hard Diary is to finish Wave 10 in Barbarian Assault, and I'm so bad at it. I don't even have a clue what I'm doing half the time. The fact that a team's even willing to take me with no prior experience is honestly a blessing. I went for the healer role, as people in the past have told me that's the easiest role to learn. You basically call out from your horn as soon as you see a change, and then your main job is healing others and killing the penance healers with your food. I didn't do too bad in the final wave, but I still have no clue what you're meant to do for the penance queen. It's been years since I did this minigame. You wouldn't believe me if I told you, but I somehow managed to wing the fighter hat and torso on a level 10 HP account. How I managed to kill the queen twice on a level 21, but died first time on a level 126, I'll never know. But these absolute legends gave me another chance, and basically carried me to a completion. Finally, I was ready to go back to but. For the fight itself, you don't necessarily have to hit back-to-back hundreds. As long as you get Vorkath to 40% health by the time it sends out its first spawn, you should be alright. The other thing that makes this challenge so hard is even if you hit perfectly, there's still a 50% chance that Vorkath will send out its acid phase, which eliminates any chance of a speedrun attempt. This is because its acid phase reduces your damage by 50% until the phase is over. For a successful speedrun attempt, you must get Vorkath's zombie spawn as its first phase. If all goes well, and it's looking like you might actually make the time, the odds are still against you, as you have to perfectly time an 8-way Darox switch, and then use your locator orb until your hit points are 1, and then hope you hit over 100 before the acid spawns. Surprisingly, you can also use the bolt spec of Benny, which is actually a pretty good method combined with the light bearer. It's not always guaranteed, but even off prayer it usually hits. It's a good way to get faster kills, especially in groups. Not to mention, it has one of the best glitchy runs I've ever seen when worn with a Verax Girth. It's also a pretty good anti-PK method as well, as you will usually outlast anyone in the caves with its accurate DPS. Although I would still recommend you bring magic, only because most people will still run away. So, the special attack on the ZCB claims that it has a double accuracy bonus, and it's been tried and tested, and I'll happily agree to that. But you know what else has a double accuracy special attack? The Your Sign Chain Mace. It boasts of a double accuracy boost, so why does it always seem to never hit? Well, there's actually a logical reason for this. The mace is a crush weapon, therefore anything weak to crush, i.e. Venenatus and Vetion, the mace's special attack, in theory, would never miss. However, for some odd reason, it actually rolls off its slash defense. Why they did this, I'll never know. But basically, for anyone curious, the mace is actually 3% weaker when using the special attack than when using a normal hit. A pretty odd but useful bit of information. This thing definitely needs a buff. As for the revs, a few people have asked me to talk about more of the in-depth escape mechanics, as there were certain parts I left out of my original guide. So firstly, it's important to know that although revs is a single combat encounter, PKers can still take advantage of this by attacking somebody next to you while you're frozen. This ensures that they can't be attacked back. Notice how he casts another player at the last second, which means I'm unable to spear him. A solution to this would be not to rush and wait patiently for the correct time to spear. If you do find yourself in this situation, the only way to counter it is to wait for the cool time in between each refreeze. What I mean by cooldown time is like when he freezes you, there's like a little delay before he can like freeze you again. So even though he can like manually barrage you, it won't actually freeze your character in place until he does it again, if that makes sense. It doesn't give you much of a time window to work with, but it's still useful to know if you ever encounter a PKer like this, that's what you're meant to do. He's very good. I've had a run in with him a few times in the past. The next thing I would recommend is stay grounded. This escape method is overpowered, I know. I know that better than anyone. But it doesn't mean you're invincible. To put things into perspective, Dino, one of the best PKers in the game, has been trying to kill me for nearly 3 years, and I always managed to get away.
And I think he escapes from that. He does when I... that's for sure. I believe he can log out. Yep, he can. Is this guy just escaped me? I honestly think he's just escaped me. Like that. Unlucky. I hate him. How do we counter that spear? Never mind, he's gone. What's that? I thought I'd done that well, man. Well, never mind. You stand close to him, he spears you away. You stand far away, and then they just run. And you're like, oh, that's unfortunate. I think I know how to kill him.
What I was saying before about staying grounded, some people might dismiss this as it seems like I'm stating the obvious, But in reality, it's really important. It's actually like something you need to consider. Never underestimate your opponents. It was a day like any other. I was at Rebs minding my own business, and I see Dino again. Judging from past experience, I got cocky and decided to give him a head start, and that was a big mistake.
Do I even try? If I catch him here, we've actually got a little bit more of a chance because he can't insta-spear. To be fair, he's going to log out. Are you going to log out? Don't log out. Oh, he's just gonna try and flex on me, isn't he? He's gonna be like, look what I can do, Dino. I can still spear you here. This guy like knows all of the ways to escape from the damn Revenant caves. Okay, we're all good. Come on, let's hope his arrogance gets the better of him, shall we? You praise Mage here? You praise Melee here? You did, and we got... Bro, our Void Wakers are arse cheeks.
The next thing I noticed was how he was playing. He wasn't keeping distance anymore like he used to. He was standing under me on the stairs. And this is the most difficult position to be in when trying to use the spear to escape, because you can't gap from that distance unless they step directly in front of you. This exit spot up here is what I like to call the last resort method, because it's essentially gambling. When a player goes up there, there's a 50% chance they land in a good spot, and if they do, you can usually spear gap them to safety. Although it is still gambling, as if they react fast enough, he can cast you as you spear. However, if they land in the bad spot, then you won't be able to gap them. Unfortunately, this time around, Dino landed in the bad spot twice in a row.
That one splash might have just cost me the kill. Did get the right click though. That's beautiful. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Are you out? The first time we've ever managed to kill that man. Ever. Literally ever. He is the slipperiest. Oh, I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with that. But the stamina was causing me issues. The stamina was definitely causing me issues. That guy's been in the road for like 2 years. I've never managed to kill him.
It was a proud moment, I'm not gonna lie. I've been hunted by this guy for 3 years, so to see him finally get the kill actually made me quite happy. Good fight to him. I always knew this would happen eventually. The raiding is going quite well. We pulled an ancestral top, which is the second best drop you can get. Still no sign of the omelette, but I'm slowly working towards it, and hopefully I don't go too dry. But it's out of my hands. It's literally out of my control at this point. All I can do in the meantime is keep raiding. I've also been practicing for hard mode TOBs, as I do still want to try and get the Sanguine Dust for my Verzik pet. I'm still currently 63 dry for a purple in my name, so surely I see something eventually. I've been looking into the hard mode mechanics, and although they do seem more difficult, they are definitely achievable. I'm gonna go do a few more regular runs until I get a purple, and also to get me warmed up, then I'll make a start. Overall though, the progress is going well, and I'm closing in on 200 mil hit points XP. I should complete that by the next video. Thank you for watching.